Right, we're gonna carry on with what I call client series. Today we're gonna talk with Lee, and I'll just let you kind of introduce yourself to everyone. What I want to know basics is who are you? Give us some breakdown about your size, like your age, your body weight, all those kind of things, so people can understand what you are like in real life. And then we'll probably dig into
Yeah.
what brought you into the lifestyle of just being, let's be honest, meathead. So I'll leave it to you now.
Yeah. Lee Grainger, 48. I'm a director for a construction company. It's my day job and a dad. Currently, I am about 136 kilos-ish, about 6'2". So always been a big lad, always had a big head. Yeah, and I train. I work long hours. My job. It is what it is. But yeah, I find the time and I make the time to religiously train because I enjoy it. It's not just good for my body; it's good for my head. I find.
So what's your backstory? Why did you get into training to begin with?
So I was always very sporty at school. Worked in construction, so I always had a very active job, and always sort of flirted in and out of the gym, if you like. When I progressed from on site to the office, slowly but surely my fitness went away, and when I got to a point, probably I've sort of trained on and off all my life, but probably got to about 40, something like that, and I realised that I'd got really unfit, which is something that I'd never been. So I'd started doing something about it. At that point, I smoked as well, so I packed in smoking pretty much the same day. It actually come to a head. My wife, we'd been out with my kids and on fairground rides and whatever. My wife had been taking photographs, and I didn't know. And then later on in the night, I had a look, and I was like, "Is that actually how I look? Is that my belly?" And that was it. Packed in smoking and back to the gym, and that was probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago now.
One thing,
and never shall that belly come back.
One thing I picked up, you said your fitness had gone away. How did you get fit to begin with? Where was that fitness background to begin with?
So I played a lot of football when I was a young man at school, and I done a lot of long distance running. I was cross country runner as a kid, so I ran right the way through my childhood. I was a really good runner, so I had an ingrained fitness, if you like. I worked on building sites, which is very manual, concrete worker, that sort of thing. So I just sort of maintained a level of fitness, always in and out of the gym. I know I might go for a year, then stop and then go again. But like I say, through my 20s and I'd say my 30s, I always maintained a level of fitness because of work and just it was ingrained in me from being a young man, you know.
This is something like very interesting, and I hope people are listening and picking this up, that everyone I have ever spoken to who are ridiculously big and stupidly strong, they keep talking about that they have spent just a couple of years in gym, but when you start talking to them, they had at least 10, 20, 15, whatever years of doing fitness-based groundwork. And they never consider that to be in training. And then you talk to them like, oh, no, I'm not fit. And then you speak to them, oh, yeah, for 5 years I've done this, for 10 years I've done that. And they're like, oh, that's why I'm big and strong. Like, yes, because you cannot build physique, you cannot build strength if your fitness does not allow you to recover from stupidly like damaging training sessions. It's just not going to happen. And so many people are still ignorant to that. And when I tell them go for a walk, at least 10 minutes a day, a couple times a day would be nice. It's gonna completely change your ability to train. And they just look at me weird. And then week after, 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, now I get it. So that's kind of, what was your desire? What did you want to get out of training? Why did you decide it? Look, I need to go in the gym.
So, yes, so I've always been a relatively big lad. You know, even when I left school, I was a big lad. You know, I'm a big framed man, obviously. But as much, I'd say it's a bit of vanity, obviously, because I like to look good and didn't like having a big belly. You know, I've got members of my family died quite young through strokes and things like that. So I'm probably a high risk person. If I'm not fit, then I'm probably in a high risk category. I've got children, so my intention was not to go before my children have grown up, which is obviously a factor. And just want to be big and strong and look well and healthy. No, and that's.
Was there ever
something
that kind of interfered with you where you thought, you know what, no, this is not for me? Did you ever got to a point where you went to gym for a while and then thought, now I need to pack in?
No. When I was younger, I'd like to say I sort of in and out of the gym because of my work more than anything. You know, I've worked away different parts of the country, and I spent many years in a caravan getting dragged about sites. Obviously, then it was you couldn't really train. But no, if I've got the ability to train, which you can always find time. No, I've no intentions of stopping ever, if I'm honest.
Yeah, there's something you already covered there, because there's always some kind of a block that can't even call it a block. It's more of a like emotional trigger that makes you do things. And you already covered that you probably, because of your family history, are a bit higher risk of suffering from health and all those kind of issues. So what new opportunities did you discover when you actually started training and started to get stronger and all those kind of things? Did you keep hanging out with same people, or did something change in your life completely? You know, I know when I started training, I just enjoyed my life much more. You know, I was really good at school, any kind of subjects. I was really good. I just loved reading a lot. So I was really good in that. And my teachers were always saying, why are you wasting your time in a gym? You could be a doctor. You could be this, you could be that. And I would just look at them. I don't want to. That's why I'm doing it. I just enjoy it. And I have so much energy. I can sustain this. I can still learn and be good in academics and carry on. So did anything change for you when you started taking it like more of a serious, when you went out from that younger age, when you still get distractions, back in training and go enjoy yourself and have fun and then go back in the gym? So how did you went to a point where, no, that's it, I'm sticking to training for the rest of my life?
Yeah, well, it's slightly different for me. If I go back to school days, I was also really good at school, but I sort of wasted it. I left school before I didn't even do my exams. I just went to London and worked, and it was more important for me at that point to have money in my pocket than, and it's probably safe to say that I was on not a very good path for several years, but life brought me to the south coast. So I live in Weymouth now. I'm from Middlesbrough. All of my family are still in Middlesbrough, sorry, apart from my wife and children. So I've always trained pretty much on my own for probably 5 years. I'd say I just trained on my own, and obviously I would speak to people in the gym and jump in on sessions even there. But because of my work and you know the long hours that I work, I mean, for as an example, for a couple of years, I used to get up at 3:30. I'd drive to Bournemouth, I'd train, and then I'd be on site at 6, and then I'd work. And I'd done that for about 2 years, pretty much every day. So when people say you can't make time for the gym, there's always time. You just get up earlier. But when I started training in Weymouth, I sort of met the powerlifting lads, Shane and the lot. moved into a bit more powerlifting training. I've probably only been doing it a year-ish, maybe a year and a half, maybe. And then obviously there's more camaraderie, and I'm training with people. I'm actually training on my own at the minute, but I was training with people for a while. But I'm disciplined enough to go to the gym every day on my own. I don't need to train with people. It's good to meet and talk and have a crack with the lads when they're there, but I don't need them. I still go to the gym anyway.
How did you come to a point where you designed a plan? Right, I'm going to do this so it doesn't interfere with my business and it doesn't interfere with my family life. So what did you actually wrote down as, this is my outcome? I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be big, and this is how I'm going to do it. What was your approach?
So I'm very disciplined if I've got something to follow. So without a structured plan, if you like, I'll go to the gym every day and I'll train and I'll probably do the right things. But if I've got a structured plan to follow, then I'm much better, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, like I say, currently I'm working in Manchester, I live in Weymouth. I'm doing a lot of travelling, but I find time, you know. I make time. I get the training done first. So currently, my normal midweek day, I'm up at 4. I go for a half an hour power walk, go back to the apartment. I have my shake, my first meal, and then I go to the gym. I train from 10 to 6-ish till about 7:15, and then I go to work. And then I leave work and eat and sleep, pretty much.
Eat, sleep, train, repeat. So what would you say is the greatest achievement in terms of, the way I want to put it down is not in a gym, but as a person? What do you think training, what kind of effect did it do on you as a person?
Right. Well, I get as much mental health benefit from training as I do physical. So I feel a lot better in myself. I'm probably been known as a bit of a grumpy big old man. But training sorts all that out. So I feel mentally well as much as physically well. I'd say makes me a nicer person.
Because you mentioned something before we started recording about you feeling benefits on just going on a walk. Do you want to expand on that? So how does it actually make you feel if you skip a week or two of not getting up early and going out for a walk, or just in general going out with your family, and instead of walking out with them, like you were saying, just sit on a bench and have a smoke instead? So what do you feel like how is it benefiting you now?
So I think the best way to describe it is a previous. I went through a previous training plan, and I think when I sort of come to the peak, I was probably about 140 kilos, quite strong, relatively strong compared to some not, but I was stronger than I was when I started, but I was really unhealthy. I wasn't far away from the point of my wife needing to fasten my shoelaces for me, type unhealthy, couldn't bend over, and the gains that I got in the strength did not outweigh the loss of the rest of it, if you like. This time around, different approach, different coach. I'm probably only a couple of kilos away from that body weight, but I feel really healthy. You know, I can do all of the things that I should be doing. I can walk, be then everywhere, no problem. But as we were talking about earlier, the last 2 weeks I've been really busy at work, pretty much doing days and nights, and the half an hour walk at 4 till 3:30 has suffered because of that, and within a week I started to feel groggy and not as healthy. So the impact is really quick, you know, just from losing that whatever it is, 5,000 steps or whatever it equates to.
It's funny because just yesterday somebody asked me, like, are you dieting? I'm like, why? Because you're on treadmill. Like, I was there 10 minutes. I'm always doing that. I always go on a treadmill 10 minutes before I train just to get my mind clear and get me set for a training session. Then I'll do some mobility work. It's pretty much similar to what you do, but we obviously have completely similar, different goals. So I design your training plans completely different to mine, but the concept is very similar in terms of health first and then everything else. So, and after training, I walk again and I cool down. A lot of guys, they just train. Oh, I finished my session, last set, drop the dumbbell, and off they go. And I'm like, you haven't even cooled down. And I don't mean cool down physically. You haven't cooled down mentally. You know, like people coming in a gym in a work boots. I'm like, you wouldn't go home and straight in a bedroom in your work boots, would you? Like, you just don't do that. It's just, it's not going to work. It's not going to be like, you can get the job done, but it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. And I approach, like you highlighted, mentally, it's, for me, it's like a meditation that can expand from an hour to 2 hours. It's just my time and enjoying yourself, really, you know, and having that set routine, walking before and after. Like, I ask people to go out for a walk, not for the reasons of, oh, you're going to get leaner. I ask them for the same exact reason why you just highlighted. You are literally having mental benefit from it. Not just physically you feel better, but you have clarity in your head. You know, when you go out at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's no one out there. There are no distractions. You're not going to go on your phone and start checking up because no one's putting out anything. There is nothing to trigger your mind anymore. So you're just so kind of grounded with yourself that for the rest of the day, you had those 10, 20, 30 minutes with yourself, you feel so much better. And a lot of people still don't appreciate that. Like, I don't reply to anyone after 8 o'clock at night because everyone I work with, I want them to chill out at night. I don't want them to message me. I'm like, stop messaging me so late. You should be winding down. You should be sitting with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your boy, whatever the hell. Last thing you should be thinking about is me. You had your job done. You had your plan laid out for yourself. If you train really late, that's great. But still, that means even more important for you to put everything else away so you can wind down and go and relax and chill. So following up from all of that, what would you say is the biggest transformation you went through? You know, you said you were a young guy and you enjoyed yourself. Then you went into smoking a bit, training heavy. So we started to work a few months ago. And what would you say was biggest transformation in terms of physical and mental, your mindset geared towards training? Because I know my training approach is more of like old Eastern European, Soviet Union bloc kind of stuff, which some people find weird. But let's be honest, those people are ridiculously strong and fit. So why not follow it? So what would you say was your biggest transformation when you went, like, probably first weeks you were thinking, what the hell this is? So now you've been in for a few months.
I do consider myself quite an intelligent person, yet I spent quite a period of time training to make myself strong, but in the process making myself really unhealthy, to the point where I had high blood pressure and a whole host of things, but getting progressively stronger, if you like, for a 1 rep, 2 rep, 3 rep thing. But you know, if I have to do 10 reps, I'll probably have to sit down in between, and that's sort of a common concept in the gym of the you know, size and strength, and you don't really need to be fit to be strong. Where obviously when you and I started, it was put all that in the bin because that's not correct. And obviously being an intelligent person, once you explain it, you think, well, do you know what? Actually, you're right that all of the really good athletes have got a really good cardio fitness base before they start. So why would that thought process be any different for someone like myself, you know? And yeah, and like I say, my resting heart rate is really good for my size. My blood pressure's a lot lower. It's now in a normal range. So you know, I think within about 8 weeks of you and I working together, all of that changed. So the benefits, the facts speak for themselves, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. A lot of people what I tend to find is they don't put performance and health in one bracket. They kind of, if you want to be an elite athlete, you need to be absolutely messed up. No, no. Like, this is why the guys who are taking the most risk, their careers in any kind of elite level athletics or strength sports or whatnot, are very short-lived. So they don't last very long.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. Those are the main things I wanted to get out of you. Just figure out where you come from. Maybe would be interesting to know if you had, you already explained, but what were your beliefs that kind of had to change when we started working together, when I started to ask you, you know what, you're going to go for a walk. You know what, we're going to do this in certain time. You're not going to rest 15 minutes between your sets. We need to improve your ability to be powerful more frequent rather than once in a session and then leave it. So what were your beliefs that you had before that you need to be just big and strong that are now changed and probably held you back a bit before, that you didn't even consider fitness being such a big part of being big and strong?
Well, I'd say my previous strength training, if you like, there'd be 3, 4, 5 of us at the gym, and we'd probably spend more time talking than we would actually working, and we'd all pick up relatively big weights, if you like, compared to most. But you'd sit and talk for 10 minutes and then go and do 1 rep and then sit and talk for, and many times my wife would call me and say, "Are you coming home?" And I'd be like, "Been in the gym 3 hours or whatever," and I'm nearly done. Just wasted time, and most wasted time. And in that process, getting strong but getting unhealthy. Your approach, and when we went, stripped it back and started afresh, if I'm honest, I started enjoying my training again. And like I say, when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of running, long distance running, and I enjoyed that endurance fitness thing, if you like. Your style of training brought them memories back, if you like, and reinvigorated my training. So I really enjoyed that way, really. So yeah, so the benefits are, like I say, as much mentally as physically,
Have
without
you
a doubt.
ever seen Big Z training?
Videos, yeah.
So there's a video he has made with Martin Schlitzes, because they came from pretty much same place. Like, I've seen Big Z when I was this big in bloody petrol station, you know what I mean? And the guy could front squat 400 kilos, rest for 90 seconds. He would never rest more than 90 seconds between any sets, and do it again. You cannot find any other athlete who can do that. And they would go like, "Oh, Big Z is just a big fat mess." He's a big fat, ridiculously fit mess. Like, that guy was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
He had just so many years of training behind him. That's why he was so big. He just wanted to be that big. But people don't realize he's training similar as the way I approach everyone else. Like, we come from same kind of area. And that kind of style of training seems to work really good, because you rewire your body the way it works, the way it can access energy. We all have energy stores, and we have ATP and phosphocreatine and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And that's the main things that I always emphasize. You need to be able to do things more often than others, especially if you want to go into like a strongman. For powerlifting, it might not be so. For powerlifting approach that you were doing is fantastic. You do your one rep, and then half an hour later, you might do another one if you get lucky. I actually had a friend who used to do that. He used to have a set and then go for a meal, come back and do another set. It's like, and he was extremely powerful, but he had massive fitness background as well, but he did not compete for a very long time. He did a couple of years and his fucked in, and he couldn't just carry on, you know. Whereas in reality, when you look on all these new guys coming up, you know, like you train in Shane and Mitch Flowers, it's phenomenal, you know, what these new guys can do. And
Shane's a phenomenal athlete,
it's great to see. It's great to see that people are actually getting to the point like, look, I don't need to be just big and strong. I need to be big, strong, and actually survive what I'm doing. So it's for me, I just like creating big beasts that are actually kind of someone to look up to. You know what I mean? Because as much as you would like to look on a big, strong guy, most of the guys just think, oh, that's impressive, but I don't want to be like that. Whereas somebody looks at you, that's impressive, that's powerful, he looks great, and he can go for a flipping run with his dog. What's that's all about? I want to be like that when I'm getting to his age. You know what I mean? And I just love seeing that. So
cool. Yeah.
In regards to anything, what would you say to people who are just starting out training or who have been training for many years? What would you give them as biggest takeaway? What I want to find out, is there some key mistakes or key takeaways you have kind of learned over all these years that you would consider being one or two pieces of advice you would give to anyone who starts training?
I think it's the biggest one is always the obvious one, in it, food. You know, people, myself included, for many years, would train every day, train regular, then eat junk food and just eat crap, not watch what I eat. And I'd say, you know, get your food right, and the rest will follow, I would suggest. I'm more getting now round to the understanding about rest and sleep and all of that other stuff and the benefits that brings, because, you know, I probably spent I don't know, 10 years of my life not sleeping correctly, and I sort of managed because you just do, but now I make sure that I sleep properly, and I eat 99% of the time correctly. I'd say they're the two biggest benefits.
Yeah. So basically, something I struggled very, very long time myself: rest and start eating like an adult. Chicken dinosaurs is not protein source. You know, but
green leaf were not first on my choice, if I'm honest, for many years, but now I start every morning with a big bag of green leaves.
What would you say was the biggest, like, how can I even describe it, turn off for eating greens? You know, why did you avoid them at all costs? And then I might give my own opinion.
Just the if I'm honest, where I grew up, where I come from, I'm a council estate kid, and we just ate unhealthily. You know, no reason other than that's just what we did when where I come from. When I grew up, it was processed foods.
Yeah, so cheap and ready to eat anytime. You don't take.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I can, like, when you come from that background, it's work or nothing. You either graft your life away or you're not gonna get anywhere.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the way my upbringing was, everything was homegrown. So, and actually, when I moved to UK, that's when I started to buy everything from shop. And I was like, how the hell people can live like this? I feel horrendous. Like, everything is just like, I feel so drained. And I'm in kind of a thought process that people are avoiding greens because they have bought into this calories in, calories out, and I just need to eat big to get big. And don't realize if you don't eat those greens, most of the foods you are eating are not even absorbed properly because your gut is so just full of garbage that distracts from ability to absorb the key nutrients that are necessary for feeling good. You know, it's not just protein, carbs, and fats. It's your vitamins, your minerals, your enzymes, all those kind of things that come only with dark green veg. Uh, and it's not necessarily that you need to.
Many years.
Yeah, you were saying.
I think for many years all I ate was chicken and rice. Where I trained for many years, just eating chicken and rice.
Yeah.
If I put anything else in, I thought it would be a waste of space.
yeah, and that's exactly the point I wanted to get around. Like, I just had someone new speaking with me, and he's like that. Oh, on training days, I don't want to eat so many greens so I can get my calories in. And I'm like, you're not doing your body any good doing that. You actually need to focus on keeping your body healthy rather than full of food, and then everything else will follow. I actually feel much hungrier if I eat those greens because I know I can go to toilet on a regular basis and I can do all the things on regular basis. Whereas if I just cram my food with cheesecakes and whatnot, I feel lethargic as hell. You know, sometimes you can't even go to toilet anymore, and so on and so on, and just it just stacks up. And if you don't feel you're 100%, then you resort to pre-workouts and all kind of things just to get you through things. Like you explained yourself, that sleep for you was not important, but now you could have actually taken time to reconsider how you're sleeping, how you're resting. You probably feel 10 times stronger, 10 times better, and just mental clarity comes with it. Your business probably is doing better now and everything.
Same with food. Chinese has always been my favorite food. In the last, I think I've had 2 or 3 Chinese in the last probably in the last month, that were sort of my cheat meal, if you like. And the last 2 times I felt absolutely awful after eating them. Yeah. So I'm now not even interested in eating Chinese, which is a shame because I really like Chinese, but I like the taste of it. But yeah, just I was saying to my wife the last time I had it on the night, the morning, I just felt horrible. So, you know, I felt lethargic and almost like I'd been poisoned. So yeah. So I can certainly understand that thought.
Do they? Most people always feel like that 24/7, and they think it's normal. So, but in reality, it's not.
Yeah.
No, Lee, I'm not going to hold you any longer, but thank you for your time. Those were the key things I want to go through. And, you know, like I was looking for that fitness background the most, and I'm like, you're big, very strong guy. And have you even thought about why you are so big and strong? And a lot of people, they don't think about it. They like, oh, I've just always been like this. And I'm like, have you ever done anything fitness related for extended period of time? Oh yeah. And they're like, oh shit, that's why I could have done this. You know, that to me is always really good, interesting point to touch up. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you off. Thanks for your time, and we shall speak soon.
We'll speak.